What if I told you that somewhere inside Red Dead Redemption 2, a game about cowboys, outlaws, and dying men, there's a character who is none of these things. He doesn't rob banks, he doesn't fight, and he doesn't bleed. He just appears. And he knows things he has no business knowing. Your name, your sins, where this is all going. There's a moment in this game, a moment most players never even find, where Arthur Morgan stands in front of an old mirror in an abandoned cabin. He looks into it, and his reflection isn't him. It's a stranger, watching, waiting, smiling. Who is he? That question has haunted Rockstar fans for over a decade, because this isn't just an RDR 2 mystery. It goes all the way back to the first game, to the very beginning. And the answer, if there even is one, is more unsettling than you'd expect from a game about gunslingers and sunsets. My name is Nai, and today we're going all the way to the bottom of this rabbit hole, the strange man, the myth, the entity, and the truth. Let's start at the beginning. The original Red Dead Redemption, 2010. You're playing as John Marston, retired outlaw, broken man, a man being used by a government that will eventually kill him. In this game, there are 3 separate stranger missions, optional side quests, all involving the same man, a man simply called the Strange Man. He's tall, well-dressed, he speaks like someone who doesn't belong in 1911, calm, knowing, polite, and even.
So, I seem to know you. I'm pretty good at remembering faces. Are you? Do you remember Hattie McCourt's face? Who? She was a girl Dutch Vanderlyn shot in the head on that raid on the ferry a few years back. Same one you got shot on. Pretty girl, until her eye was hanging out by a thread of tendon and her brain was plastered over a wall.
Not really.
Then why would you remember me, friend? You've forgotten far more important people than me.
He asks John strange philosophical questions about guilt, about consequence, about whether a man can ever truly escape what he's done. And here's the thing, John Marston, a man who has stared down death, who has crossed entire continents, who has survived things that will break most people, John Marston is afraid of this man. Not visibly, he keeps it together, but there's something in that dialogue, awareness, like John senses that whoever he's talking to isn't quite right. In the third encounter, the strange man vanishes, literally. One moment he's standing in front of John and then gone. No sound, no footsteps, just absence. I mean, what the hell, man? John looks around, nobody there. He says nothing. What is there to say? And then the mission ends. No resolution, no explanation, no name. Just that feeling. Let's look at what the strange man actually says across these 3 encounters, because the writing is deliberate, every line is chosen carefully. In his first encounter with John, he makes a comment that stops most players cold. He mentions people John has wronged, specifically by name, people John hasn't told anyone about. How does a stranger in the middle of nowhere know the private sins of an outlaw? He says, I know everything about you, John, and nothing you've done has gone unnoticed. Unnoticed by who? By what? He never explains, he just smiles and moves on. In the second encounter, he pushes John on the concept of redemption. Can a man like John actually be redeemed, or is the damage too deep, the sins too many? It reads less like small talk and more like a verdict being handed down. And in the third, the disappearing act, which by the way happens during broad daylight. No fog, no smoke, no clever camera cut, he is simply there and then he isn't. Now, fast forward to Red Dead Redemption 2, a prequel set 12 years before the events of Red Dead Redemption 1. The year is 1899. Arthur Morgan is the protagonist. John Marston is still in the gang. The world is changing, and somewhere in the wilderness of Le Moyne, the strange man is already there. He appears in RDR 2, not through a scripted quest, not initially. He appears through something much more subtle, much more unsettling. A painting, a cabin, a mirror, and a gradual, creeping revelation. If you explore the Bayou Noir region, swamp country, Spanish moss, alligators, the whole atmosphere, you can find an abandoned cabin. Inside, hanging on the wall, is a painting, a man in formal clothes, standing in a field, looking directly at the viewer. It's him, the strange man, in a painting on the wall of a cabin in the middle of a swamp in 1899. But that's not the main event. The cabin also has a mirror, an old, cracked, foggy mirror. If Arthur stands in front of it early in the game, he sees his own reflection. Normal, expected. But if you return to this cabin as the game progresses, specifically if Arthur has been diagnosed with tuberculosis and his health is deteriorating, something has changed. Arthur's reflection begins to fade, and as it fades, another figure becomes visible. In the mirror, standing where Arthur should be, the strange man, standing there, watching, not moving, not speaking, and just present, in a space that Arthur occupies. The cabin has a specific mechanic built around it. 3 visits. Each time Arthur goes back at different points in the story, the painting is slightly different, and the mirror changes. First visit, the painting is there, Arthur's reflection is whole, the strange man is just a painting. Second visit, the painting seems the same, but in the mirror, a flicker, something behind Arthur that shouldn't be there. Third visit, Arthur's reflection is almost gone. The strange man stands in his place, full and clear in the glass, watching. And if you've managed a 4th visit after Arthur's death, playing as John Marston, something extraordinary happens. John stands in front of the mirror. He sees himself, but also, and this is the part that breaks people, the painting on the wall is now complete, in full. The strange man's image is finished, whole, as if Arthur's death completed something. The most popular theory, and honestly the most compelling one, is that the strange man is death, not a metaphor, actual personified death. Think about what he does. He appears to men who are close to the end. He asks them about their sins. He watches. He waits. He doesn't intervene. He observes, like he already knows the outcome and is merely supervising. His appearance in John's life comes during a period where John's doom is inevitable. The government owns him. There is no way out, and the strange man seems to know this, seems almost bored by it, the way someone is bored by a foregone conclusion. With Arthur, his manifestation in the mirror is directly tied to Arthur's deteriorating health. As Arthur gets closer to death, as his body starts failing, as his lungs begin to fail, the strange man gets clearer, closer, and more present. He's not haunting Arthur, he's simply arriving on schedule. There's a long cultural tradition of death as a gentleman, patient, elegant, and unhurried. In Terry Pratchett's Discworld, death speaks in capital letters and has a dry sense of humor. In Ingmar Bergman's The Seventh Seal, death plays chess. There's something almost classical about the strange man, a death figure in a cowboy hat standing at the edge of the frontier. Some fans go darker. The strange man isn't death, he's the devil. The evidence here is subtle but persistent. He knows secrets, he tempts, not overtry, but his question always seems designed to make men question their choices, their worth, their capacity for goodness.
You're a man who decided right and wrong, between a man and death, between a man and his wife.
He offers no comfort and only confrontation. And there's the matter of the deals. In RDR 1, certain characters seem to have made implicit bargains, their talent, their survival, and their luck in exchange for something dark. The strange man appears at the edge of these stories, not as a participant, as a creditor. The disappearing act fits too. The devil in folklore doesn't walk away, he vanishes. He was never quite there to begin with. There's also the matter of what he wears, formal clothing, a top hat, pristine, even in the mud. No dust, no sweat, no wear. As if the physical world doesn't quite touch him, as if he exists in it but isn't subject to its rules. John Marston's story has a deeply religious undercurrent. The name itself, Marston, contains Mars, god of war, but also stone, unmovable, unbreakable, but also cold. And in Christian symbolism, the devil often appears as a well-dressed gentleman, a tempter in fine clothes. The strange man fits that archetype almost too perfectly. Here's more nuanced reading, and one that I personally find the most interesting. What if this strange man isn't evil? What if he's a witness, a cosmic accountant of moral debt, neither good nor bad, just keeping record? In religious tradition, particularly Judeo-Christian mythology, there are angels whose entire function is to observe and recall, not to intervene, just to see and remember every action, every choice and every sin, documented. The strange man never harms anyone, never threatens. He asks questions, hard questions, the kind of questions a divine auditor might ask when the ledger is being balanced, and his appearance in the mirror, taking Arthur's place, might not be threatening at all. It might be transitional. As Arthur dies and crosses on to whatever comes next, the strange man is the one who guides that crossing, or simply waits at the door. The most psychological theory, and maybe the most human too. The strange man isn't real. He is a manifestation of guilt, a collective hallucination born from the weight of what these men, John, Arthur, the Van der Linde gang as a whole, have done. Think about it. He only appears to sinners. He only asks about sin. He never appears to innocents, never shows up in town, never interacts with anyone besides the men at the center of the story. When Arthur looks in that mirror and sees the strange man instead of himself, maybe that is Arthur, the version of Arthur that exists in the dark, the killer, the thief, the man who hurt people and told himself it was necessary. The mirror doesn't show the strange man instead of Arthur, it shows who Arthur has become. It's a horror movie trope, but executed with terrifying subtlety. The monster was never outside, it was always a reflection. Let's talk about that mirror specifically, because Rockstar doesn't do anything by accident. Mirrors in storytelling are almost always about truth. In RDR 2, Arthur Morgan spends the entire game wrestling with who he is, and he writes in his journal with surprising honesty, observing the world around him, noting his own flaws, asking himself questions about whether he's a good man. The mirror in that cabin is the physical version of Arthur's journal, and what it shows the strange man where Arthur should be is the answer to the question Arthur can never quite ask out loud. Are you a good man, Arthur? The mirror says, look closer. The painting in the cabin evolves over the course of the game. This is a mechanic that requires multiple visits across different chapters, which means most players miss it entirely on a first playthrough. Early in the game, the painting is incomplete. The strange man's image is partial, like it hasn't been fully committed to canvas yet, like he's still waiting for something. After Arthur's death, the painting is finished. There's a reading of this that is almost unbearable when you sit with it. The strange man's portrait is complete by death. He becomes whole when the men he watches over are gone, as if their passing is what completes him, as if he exists specifically in relation to mortal suffering, and without it, he is unfinished. This makes him simultaneously more and less threatening. He's not evil, he's dependent. He needs these men to die in order to be whole, which raises a question the game never answered. Does he cause the deaths, or does he simply appear because they are coming? But the thing that always blows my head off is the fact that he is never given a name. Not in either games, not in any official material. The credits don't include him. The companion apps don't mention him. Even the Rockstar developers, when pressed in interviews, have smiled and said nothing. In mythology and folklore, names have enormous power. To name something is to have power over it. God gives Adam the task of naming the animals, a demonstration of dominion. In countless stories, knowing the true name of a demon or spirit gives you leverage over it. This strange man has no name, which means we have no leverage, no power, and no understanding. He exists outside the taxonomy of the world, unnamed, unknownable. Here's what's significant about the strange man existing across both games, in both time periods. He hasn't aged, not in the slightest. RDR 2 is set 12 years before RDR 1, 12 years of frontier life, of sun and wind and hard living. Everyone in this world ages, everyone withered, everyone carrying the years on their faces. But the strange man looks exactly the same. Same suit and same bearing and same ageless, unbearable face. 12 years have passed, a significant chunk of a human lifetime, and he is utterly unchanged. This is either a continuity error, which given Rockstar's obsessive attention to detail seems extraordinarily unlikely, or it is a deliberate statement about what the strange man is. He doesn't age because he isn't subject to time. There's another connection worth exploring. The Van der Linde gang, Dutch, Arthur, John, all of them, carry enormous amounts of death with them. People they've killed, people they've lost, people destroyed in their wake. The strange man doesn't follow one person. He follows the death and the accumulation of consequence. By the time RDR 1 begins, most of the gang is dead. Dutch is gone, Arthur is gone, Hosea is gone. What's left? John, the last debtor, the last man standing with an unpaid balance. And there's the strange man, patient as ever, waiting for the final accounting. John Marston's ending, if you've ever played RDR 1, is one of the most devastating in gaming history. He goes home, he tries to build something, he tries to be the farmer, the father, the husband, and then the men he worked for send an army to his ranch and kill him in his own yard. The strange man knew, he always knew, and he waited. I've laid out 4 theories: death, the devil, a witnessing angel, and the manifestation of guilt. But here's what I think. The strange man is all of those things simultaneously and none of them completely. Red Dead Redemption is a game about moral weight, about the accumulating costs of violence, of choices made for self-interest or survival or ideology. Every man in the Van der Linde gang believes at some point that they are the hero of their own story. Dutch believes he's building a better world. Arthur believes he's protecting the people he loves. John believes he's trying to escape. The strange man is the universe's response to that self-deception. He is what appears when the gap between who you think you are and who you actually are becomes too wide to ignore. He is the consequence that doesn't announce itself until you're already too deep to get out. He isn't good or evil. He doesn't have an agenda beyond witnessing, but his witnessing is itself a form of judgment. Because in the presence of something that sees everything clearly, you cannot lie to yourself. Arthur, standing in the front of that mirror, seeing the strange man where his reflection should be, that's the moment the lie becomes untenable. He can't pretend anymore. He is dying. He has done terrible things. The ledger is real, and whatever comes next will be honest in a way that life never quite managed to. We come to the conclusion that the strange man is never explained. Rockstar has never confirmed a single theory. There are no developer notes, no leaked design documents, no data-mined dialogue that answers the question definitively. And I think that's exactly the point. The best mysteries in storytelling aren't puzzles waiting to be solved. They are mirrors, and what you see in them tells you something about yourself. If you look at the strange man and see death, you're thinking about mortality, about the deadline that comes for everyone. If you see the devil, you're thinking about temptation, about the deals we make and the prices we eventually pay. If you see guilt made manifest, you're thinking about consequence, about the weight of choices. And if you see a witness, something that watches without judgment, maybe you're asking yourself what your own life looks like from the outside. What the ledger says, whether you'd be comfortable with someone seeing the full accounting. Arthur Morgan, at the end of his life, chooses to help John Marston escape. He chooses it knowing it will kill him. He rides back into danger, not because it benefits him. He is already dying, but because it's the right thing to do. And in that moment, maybe the strange man in the mirror fades, not because Arthur has escaped judgment, but because the ledger, at last, is moving in the right direction. The strange man is a question the game asks and never answers, but Arthur, and maybe us watching, gets to choose what kind of answer to get. And that, I think, is the whole point.